I'm Amassa2. I'm an occupational therapist, and I had the opportunity to go with EJ's Charities to Mbano, Nigeria for a medical mission. I had decided I wanted to work with EJ's Charities, but I needed to know for myself exactly what was going to be happening, what the fundraising we were doing was going to be used for, what the need was, what kinds of issues would arise, the difficulties as well as the opportunities. And so I really needed to get there and see it for myself. This year's medical mission exceeded the medical missions in the past. We had somewhere between 7,000 and 10,000 people show up for the mission, and we were able to service about 7,000 people. Going there as an occupational therapist, I really wasn't sure what I was going to be able to do. So the first day, I literally spent stocking the pharmacy with a group of other people. All of the supplies that we used were either brought with us or bought there with the money that we had brought with us. The prescriptions were being written by the doctors. The pharmacist was actually pulling the medications, and we were basically helpers, runners, going and getting things for the pharmacists. And then they were being handed out to the people who, again, as I said, sometimes waited 2 or 3 days in line for the medications that they needed. Within the first day and a half, I guess, we got the pharmacy all straightened out, and I got asked if I would come over and do the same thing for surgery. In surgery, the supplies that we were using in surgery were supplies that were brought from the United States over. They were not supplies that were at the hospital. So between the medications for anesthesia, the gauze, sterile gauze pads, the sutures that were being used, literally came in big cardboard boxes from California, other parts of the United States. So what happened was we needed to really sort that, because the doctors got right in to do surgery, and it was like, you know, people were just grabbing and tearing at things trying to find what they needed. The doctors that were there, the surgeons that were there, some were from America, some actually were from Nigeria, who came to the mission in order to be able to help the mission get through. And I think, if I'm right, we did 66 surgeries in 4 days. So it really was a very active OR, 3-4 surgeries going on at one time. While we were unpacking, there was a burn kit. And a burn kit is a treatment kit for somebody who has pretty severe burns. And when we looked at it, we really felt we weren't going to need it, but we put it away. And a young child came in who had, his mom was carrying a pot of boiling water, and he bumped his head on the pot, and the water cascaded down his back, and he ended up with burns from his shoulders to the bottom of his buttocks and the back of his legs. He probably would have died if the mission was not there. His family did not have money for medical services. Medical services in Nigeria cost money, and if you don't have the money, you don't get the services. So what happened is we took him in, and it just so happened, and surprise, we had a burn kit, and we were able to treat him. And he went home on Saturday morning with his family. One of the things that really impressed me with the people of Nigeria, they are a very bright and educated population. The issue is they just need the knowledge to be shared with them. That sort of ties in with what we're trying to do with EJ's Charities. We're trying to extend the mission through education. One of the things that we're looking at is education on diabetes. We're looking at education on arthritis and how to prevent it or how to soothe it once you have it. One of the other big areas that we see are sexually transmitted diseases. Young women do not feel that they have the power to control their own bodies. There are certain things that they feel are expected of them by the men in the culture. And what happens is, very often some of the diseases that these young women get, they do not necessarily relate them to the activity, the sexual activity. And so there is an education that really needs to go on. EJ's Charities is basically a program that's trying very hard to establish more of a consistent, ongoing program, an ongoing support to those people who do not have money for health care in Nigeria. People often hear about the wealthy people in Nigeria, that Nigeria has a great deal of money. The sad part is that money goes to a chosen few, and then there are people who are living in situations where they literally need everything from the basic food families that need food to eat, water to drink, jobs for themselves and for their children. And yet, I saw spirited people. They were not sitting there sad and despondent and saying they have nothing. They took advantage of every opportunity that they could have. EJ's Charities does have a piece of land available. What we're looking for is the funding so that we can build that clinic on that land. The hospital that we were using was rented. And the joint hospital, we rented it for the week. The land is there. It is a part of EJ's Charities. What is not there yet is a building to build it in. We have a lot of supplies that wonderful people here in the United States have donated, but we need a place to leave those supplies while we're here collecting them, so that we need somebody and someplace so that those supplies can be utilized and they can be available. EJ's Charities really needs to have some funding so that we can actually build the building, get somebody from Nigeria in that building so that they would be working for EJ's Charities in order to be able to monitor the supplies, to monitor the building, so that this way we can utilize it at its most optimum. Could we maybe have something that's a little bit more consistent than an annual mission?